and we introduce JoLynn Maas, who is going to talk about tarot and all the scary things to make them not so scary, so we know how to navigate them better, and some other meanings that we might not know. We welcome Jo and all her artwork and her incredible knowledge and gifts and talents. So take it over, Jo. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Greetings, everyone, and thank you all for joining today. My presentation will hopefully help you gain some insights on how to navigate the scary and seemingly negative, fear-inducing cards in the tarot deck. Or if you are the one receiving the reading, it will also be informative for you. If you are not a reader or do not want to get a reading, maybe it will just be a new and interesting topic for you. These intense and scary cards can indeed invoke an immediate recoiling response upon first glance. The reader might place the cards and think, oh no, how am I going to explain this one? Especially if several of these daunting cards pop up together, reinforcing each other. I'll give you some examples of these combinations and how I would read them to convey the authentic meaning, but at the same time, empower the client to stay balanced and strong and give them some tools to navigate any current or upcoming challenges. First of all, the actual position in which the cards fall in the spread are very important. For example, if the negative cards fall in the position of the past, that's a little bit easier. You can say, oh, I see you've really been through some difficult times in the recent past. Now that's water under the bridge. You can actually congratulate them for getting through these hard times. If the negative cards fall in the future or the current positions, that's where you can just acknowledge the possible challenges and suggest solutions. Maybe give the person advice on how to best maneuver through this, or possibly how to avoid it altogether. I actually had one client who was so scared of the death card. She was scared to death of the death card that I simply removed it before the reading. The same could go for the devil card. There are such deep cultural ideas attached to those concepts, especially when combined with tarot cards. Some people have a hard time seeing anything other than their fear, so I would just simply take those cards out of the deck. There's really no reason here to traumatize anyone. Now, if you totally want to avoid any scary images from coming up at all in a reading, you can choose a deck that doesn't have any scary cards. There are many decks that simply have a card showing 10 swords rather than a guy getting impaled by 10 swords. A picture of a tower rather than people screaming and falling to their deaths from a tower. A picture of 3 simple swords rather than a heart stabbed with 3 swords. However, if you do choose a deck like this, you have to be a more skilled reader in order to know the meanings of these non-detailed decks, because you don't have that visual reminder of the meanings, and that goes for both good cards or bad cards. And now I'm going to switch to screen sharing so I can show you a few of these combinations. Yes, oh no, I don't want that one. Here we go, this one. There it was. Well, I'm going to try this, but because Dana, you were the main host, I guess it was going to share your desktop. No, that is my desktop because it's picturing you. All right, here we go. Can everyone see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all muted, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, now this is an example of card that simply shows the 10 swords. And it looks like 5 swords, but they're actually split in the middle here, so it's 10. And that is, I got to get to my arrow here so I can move this around. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. Oopsie daisy. I'm trying to move this whole unit of you guys over here. All right, we'll get there. All right, so this is a simple deck with the 10 cards, and this would be a little bit easier to read than this scary version would kind of terrify everybody, even though I do use this card in one of my decks. Here's another one showing the guy getting impaled, very intense. Then this card is simply a tower, and it's a little bit easier to look at than this, where the people are falling and hollering off the top. This version is kind of a happy medium between the two, where at the top, it looks not too pleasant, but the gal is at peace and actually embracing her world that has been upended. And it's showing that it's all about how you perceive your reality. Here's 3 little swords, as opposed to this deck's a little bit more terrifying rendition of getting stabbed. And this next one is just absolutely horrifying. The 5 of coins or pentacles looks a bit more innocent than what this card portrays. The poor cats are out there in the snowstorm looking all sad and desperate. These vegetables right here look a little bit more sad, but hey, they're vegetables, so we don't get too emotionally involved with them. It's a turnip and a ginger, I'm not sure. Here's an abstract 10 of Wands. It's a bit better than this guy being so blinded by his burdens that he can't see where he's going. If you remember that previous tower card where the gal was gently embracing her tower, well, this next card is from that same deck, and it is also a gentler version showing her carrying pretty flowers instead of the big logs. But ironically, even those beautiful flowers can be a burden. This particular deck is called the Tarot of Mystical Moments, and I will be showing more about that deck later. I highly recommend it if you like a sweeter, gentler imagery, but one that still shows specific depictions for an accurate reading.
I love
Another
that.
deck that shows specific images in a lighter way is the Grimalkin Tarot. It's all cats, and it's a very easy deck to read, even through the difficult cards. And I'll just flip through some of those more stressful versions of these cards. Here's a cat, 5 of Cups. It's that same sad looking with the empty cups, but this cat actually probably pushed those cups over itself. So these are a little bit more playful. This cat looks really sad. He's gotten wet and things aren't going too well for him at the moment, but he's going with life's ups and downs. Once he gets the hairdryer, gets blown off, he's all fluffy, he's going to be happy again. So it's all good. This one is that same one that had the turnip and the sad vegetables. Well, these cats don't look quite as sad as that. They look like they might even want to be playing with those 5 of Pentacles there. So again, it's just a little bit more lighthearted with a sense of humor. This little coy cat is keeping this dog at bay with swords. It has hijacked the tennis ball there, and he's not letting the dog have anything to do with it. So again, sense of humor with this one. This is the same one where it was the burdens with the logs and also the gal carrying the flowers. And this cat should be stressed out because he can't get to the nest or the bird, but again, he's actually making a playful time out of it. And again, that is the Grimalkin Tarot. MJ Cullinane is a great artist. She's done a lot of different decks. And the other deck that I was telling you about is the Mystical Moments with the flowers, real pretty version. So, hey, let's get right into reading the scary combinations that might arise during a reading. This one doesn't look good at all. Someone cannot escape their overwhelming emotional and mental troubles, and the devil is keeping them chained to old habits or ways of negativity. Now, you can't just throw these out there at a client and say, oh, sorry for your troubles. You have to offer what I call a helping card or a clarifier, at least one card, maybe more. And here's some examples of what might be a card that you would put down to say, hey, you might be able to, if you want to get help, there's people that are offering help. Don't be scared to receive help. If you want to go out and help people, maybe feed the homeless or volunteer with kids or do something, that is always an activity that can help you make you feel better. You can find a hobby, something that really makes your own personal star shine. Even if it's an art project or something, you can use your negative examples and experiences and actually purge them through some artworks. Another helping card that might come up would be the world. And this is all about travel and expansion. So you could book a cruise, go on a trip. It could be something as simple as a road trip. Get in the car and take a drive. It'll get you out of into a different environment or mindset. Or you could simply put on a podcast and read a book, go on a story, and travel that way. Just get a different perspective. And I think that was it for the helping cards. Now, I'm sure you're going to ask, what if the helping card is a bad card too? Well, that's where you just keep putting cards out until you come up with some relief of one that you like. But you can't keep putting them out. If you put out 1, 2, 3, and they're all bad, then you have to really stop and acknowledge, let the person know and be honest with them that it could actually take a bit longer than expected. And they're going to have to be patient and strong going through this difficult period in their life, and just to honor it as an important phase in life. And I have another example. Oh, that was another helping card. Would be nice. Just do some self-nourishing, maybe book yourself a massage or spa day. You could buy a gift for yourself or someone else, buy yourself a crystal or a book, something special. This is another combination, an example that actually resolves itself without needing any clarifying cards. You have the devil there, the chains. This guy has decided done with old habits, negativity, and he's moving on and saying, I'm out of here. He's taking his family, himself physically away, and it ends up becoming a very joyful celebration where things are on the mend and things are looking up and there's happiness. So that really doesn't need any more clarifying. Now this one looks pretty horrifying, and it pretty much is. There's lots of heavy disasters and traumas that people go through in their life. Almost everyone experiences extreme hardships in their life at some point or another. And now this would be an extreme example of a life that has been so disrupted that the person is immobilized and can't even take any action right here. It could be a grievous loss, a natural disaster, or a major accident. And this is more than just someone who broke a fingernail or got a bad haircut. In this case, a very careful, kind, concerned attitude would be required and applied to be understanding and supportive of all this person is experiencing. You could say something like, wow, this must be one of the hardest things you've ever gone through. And just take all the time that you need to heal. Maybe seek some resources and support groups that are available for your specific experience. And then after acknowledging the pain and suffering, you could go on to say, well, let's see what might possibly be helpful to you at this time. And hopefully you would get a card, something like this one, that shows coming out very strong and balanced on the other end, with new skills and inner strength to take on the world. Here's another combination of cards that shows the severance card right here, the 3 of Swords, a lot of heartache and emotional pain. The Knight in the middle is moving away from the pain and reuniting with friends and family. He's coming away with a strong defensive armor, and he's not really ready quite yet to be fully open to new vulnerabilities. This next Knight, I've substituted this one in the middle, and he's coming away from that same pain with more of an understanding, loving heart. He's willing to be open to new experiences, and you can see the difference in these 2 different personality types. A little bit more open, a little bit more guarded. They're both at their own emotional stage of development. And now I'm going to go back to that original combination and show you how these play out in various positions in the spread. The spread that I personally use has 6 positions. There's a current, a helping card, the foundation, the recent past, possibilities, and the future. Like I mentioned before, if this set falls in the past, it's water under the bridge, not too much description or advice is needed. You could acknowledge the cards and describe them a bit and just say you've been through a lot. Congratulations. If this set is in the possibilities position, it's something that's a black cloud over your head, but it can definitely be avoided altogether. So you might want to give some advice on changing the mindset to avert bad events. If these three cards are in the future position, it's more likely that they will be going through something in the future. And you can remind that person to stay vigilant, balanced, rested, and strong in order to gain the best outcome. If these cards fall in either the current or the foundation, they are experiencing this trauma right now. And finally, if one of these cards is in the helping position, I personally normally only have one card that falls in the helping position. That card shows that they need to embrace the energy of that card because it is something that will ultimately help them, even if it seems counterintuitive. For example, if this card, the Five of Cups, fell into the helping position, I would say you need to embrace your grief. Don't be in denial. You really need to go through your emotions right now and not put things in a box and put them away because they might just pop up on you later. And now on to the more fun portion of the talk. I'll do a show and tell of some of my unique and favorite decks. This is the Tarot of the Drowning World. This is a photographer that uses people, nature, bones, vegetables, foliage to create his imagery. It's beautifully intense. Here is his death card, and it shows the harshness reality of bones, but also a light taffeta in the middle there with a softness to it. So it has a real yin and yang feel of the death card. Here's another one, our friend, the Tower card. This guy looks like he's had a terrible accident. Everything has been upended, but it is beautiful with the flowers at the same time. This is a really good card. It's the Four of Wands. It shows a happy family, security, and safety. And apparently this family's garden is really doing well right now. They're gonna have some good salads. This is Tarot Cats. I originally bought the deck of this box that came in. And then I bought this box at local Peregrine bookstore. My husband thought it was a white cat playing with a snake, but it says white cat playing with ribbon. So again, it's all your perception. And these are some more, a little bit more playful, but some scary cards are present, but it's a very easy to read deck. There's nice colors to it. This again are more cards from that Mystical Moments tarot deck that I was telling you about. That's an easy read. Our good friend, the Death card, she is actually embracing death, loves it. It's a great transformation. It's a beautiful renewal. The Empress in the middle is all about expansion, love, nurturing, growth, abundance. She's got the embryo baby in the middle there and flowers, and everything is growing and becoming beautiful. And the Queen of Cups is a lovely, very deep in the ocean, serene, beautiful card. These cards are deeply layered and they're just a joy to look at. It's another easy to read deck without all that intensity. And that's the name of it there. And that's the cover of that box. If you're interested in picking that up, you won't go wrong. This is the James Bond 007 tarot card deck. I picked this up at a flea market. They're pretty rare right now, but this deck was actually used in the movie Live and Let Die. I was really happy when I came across that one. I don't know how many of you remember the spoof on the Cabbage Patch Dolls. Well, this was the Garbage Pail Kids. And I used to collect these. They're just a hoot. And they have crazy. Here's our friend, the Devil again. He's got his little Minions chain down there. So it's more of a fun, goofy. And of all places, guess where I bought this card deck? It was at the Joann's craft store. I couldn't believe they had a selection of tarot cards in Joann's. And this is one of the nicer cards in the decks. He's capturing the little fireflies and he's turning them into coins and money. And this is just lovely, overflowing, emotional joy, peace, love. This is the card that was the Three of Swords. That was the horrifying guys getting spotted. Well, this was from my Tarot of Vlad Dracula. And as cool as this deck is, I wouldn't recommend it for reading it to anybody unless you really didn't like them. It's the most horrible imagery of all of my decks. But it does have a lot of history, and there was a gal that did all the wood carving. She carved each one, so it's real work of art. Wood carved every one by hand, 78 cards in this deck. And here's some of the worst ones. Yeah, someone getting sawed in half. We've got this thief getting boiled and he's serving soup. We've got, these are a couple of the nice ones. I dug deep and I found a couple that weren't too offensive, but this still has the ever-present scary steak here, and who knows what's going to be happening. We've got Vlad and his wife. She looks like she can hold her own. They represent the Lover's card. And with this deck, there's the ever-present violence in the background. This is another deck. It's called the Tarot of the Coins, and it's actually a two-part deck. It has the card deck, and it also has coins that come with it. And this is the one where I was showing before, where it just shows a simple devil instead of all of the details, the Fool, and the 10 swords instead of anyone being impaled. And if we move on here, this is a box my friend got me off of Etsy that I keep the actual card deck in. It says old ways don't open new doors. I thought that was pretty neat. And then here's the little pouch that all of the coins come in. And the coins look exactly like the cards, but they're actually a coin deck. There's the Wheel of Fortune up there. And they just mirror all of the imagery that's on the actual deck. What I like about this coin pouch is that you can carry it with you. It's small, it's very handy. If you're doing readings outdoors, they won't get blown away in the wind like cards would. I took this on a recent camping trip and I read for a lot of my friends with these coins. It worked out really well. And these are the three renditions of the earlier three cards you saw, but it's the coin version of the same imagery. This next one is called Tarot of the Wild. There's actually 81 different artists that each made a card for this project. And a usual tarot card deck has 78 cards, and this one has 81, so there's a few bonus cards in this deck. It comes in this black and white paper covering, but inside it's a lovely box that's purple, some iridescent on it. And it's really gorgeous. The edges of all of the cards are purple, gilded, metallic purple. It's really nice. And it's all animals. Here's our friend the tarot, or the tower again. He looks pretty daunting. We have a sleepy, sort of sad Four of Cups, panda bear, and a lovely Queen of Cups depicted as a dolphin there. So it's a really fun, lively deck. And again, each one is by a different artist, so that makes it interesting. And to top this presentation off, I bring you my most used go-to deck of all times. I keep it in this wooden box with some of my business cards in there because I can never find them when I need them. And the cards are all wrapped in a silk scarf. This deck is called the Cosmic Tarot. I've been using this deck for about 30 out of my about 40 years of reading. And here's an example of what some of these cards look like. I think they're really pretty, nice colors. They're soft and gentle. Don't get me wrong, this is the one that has some terrifying cards in it, but they're still kind of pretty. Now, I always try to leave my tarot readings and presentations on a positive note, so I'm not going to end with this image for you here. I'm going to go on to a very lovely, special, expansive energy, abundant, encouraging, and supportive with these images. And that's all I have today. Thanks again for joining. And stop my screen share. There you go.
You're magnificent, Jo. Thank you.
The Cosmic Tarot is also my favorite.
Which one? The
The
Cosmic?
Cosmic Tarot. Oh, yeah.
Don't you love it? Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Gives really good readings.
Mm.
That was awesome. Thank you for
That's really
sharing
good,
so many
Jody.
cards.
Thank you.
Who here has received one of Joe's readings so far? So there's lots more to explore. That's really good. That's awesome. And welcome, Elizabeth. I'm glad you could join us on the challenge. Yay. Well, I didn't know if Elizabeth was going to make it or not. So I didn't know if you had, did you plan a meditation for this, Elizabeth? Because I don't even know if you knew that, remembered that Jody. I did if you did. I didn't really plan it, but I know I thought of something, and then I'll leave it up to spirit to guide wherever if you want, or you're more than welcome to. I won't jump on your parade. We love your meditation. You're muted, sweetheart.
Sorry. I didn't think I was gonna be able to make it.
Right.
So I didn't, nothing was planned, but I'm happy to do it. I'm so sorry I popped in so late, but I'm glad I was able to catch the very tail end of it.
I am too.
So perhaps better, since I wasn't here for the whole thing, if you do it, but I'm happy to check in and channel a Medi if you'd prefer that, or if anybody, whatever. I'm cool.
All I was thinking of is that, you know, there are so many things with the dying of the old world and the birth of the new world that look just like those freaking cards. So Jody, you couldn't have been in more perfect timing. You know, I think all the stars aligned with you. And I just think that right now, as Jody so graciously shared with us, that there are helper cards, there are ways to do it, and they are leading us to become stronger in who we are and how we're doing it. And it doesn't have to be god awful as some of them depict. And that's kind of the thought that I had around the meditation, is just perhaps if you wouldn't mind, you do. I'm spoiled. If you wanted to, either way. But if we could, like, each find some of these things that are scary, like the fire in Hawaii right now, or Ukraine, or, you know, yada yada yada. We could talk for an hour about some of the scary things, but we don't need to. But as masterful, powerful magicians and practitioners, things, and, you know, use our helping cards and use our powers and work the persuasion magic for, you know, less winds and more rain for Hawaii, and less intolerance and more tolerance and more healing and all these kind of things. So I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think that sounds fabulous. So
Do you want to go for it, or do you want me to go for it?
well, you just mapped out something kind of awesome. I mean, I'm happy to jump on your parade, but maybe you should go for it.
Celeste, you and your nods in the back. All of you ladies, I see those. Well, find your comfortable positions. And first of all, one more. Oh, I forgot. We totally forgot. Before we do that, questions for Joe. Questions for JoLynn. Anybody have questions or comments or anything?
So what happened? No, I'm kidding.
Here, let me start over.
Yeah, can you give a
repeat
summary for those of us that weren't present?
Bad things can turn good,
Awesome.
and vice versa.
And
Thank you
not
for
to
that.
ignore them.
I'd like to know, you know, your scary deck there that I don't remember the name.
The Vlad.
The Vlad. Yeah.
Correct.
What was your feeling when you first encountered that tarot, and why did you buy it?
It popped up as
It's just out of curiosity, because I have also a deck that is extremely powerful and scary. Just look at it. So I'd like to know your version on this one in particular.
Yeah, that one popped up as a Kickstarter, and I've bought a lot of tarot decks as a Kickstarter where you pay for them on speculation. If they get the money, then they can actually produce the deck. And just reading about that one, it seems so fascinating with the artist that he secured to be able to do all of those hand cut wood cuts. And as an artist, and you're an artist, we appreciate into the deck. And I also love monsters, and Vlad the Impaler was a horrible monster, and as terrible as it was, it's interesting story. And there's a lot of history in that deck that I really enjoy delving into and looking at. And I have used that deck to read for other people. My husband wanted a reading with it because he's dark and into monsters and stuff. And it actually reads really well, and it gave a good, very accurate reading for him. You don't have to say, oh, your legs are going to get sawed in half tomorrow or anything like that, but you kind of get the idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll go ahead and speak up. I just thought I was fascinated. It was beautiful to see all the different decks and how you were able to kind of incorporate, not dancing around the stuff, but bringing in the positive and always pushing those triggers. It's super important, I think, as readers to be able to do both at the same time. And I think you're very talented. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You also
think I
missed-
know that your voice is very calm, eh? So when you do a reading, I'm sure that the people feel in confidence because your voice is tempering emotions.
Oh, that's good. It wasn't shaking too much out of nervousness. That's good to know.
You're a good actor too.
Yeah. She's got like in her monster bar, her husband's monster bar, that is completely monster themed, skull chandelier, monster hanging area that is, we'll have to have pictures of that sometime. You'll have to share, Joe.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Are we ready? So let's start with just getting comfortable and taking some breaths, and pick a focus of where you'd like to bring ease and grace to. And so with that, we'll begin with just some calming breaths to ground and center ourselves. And for those of you who wish to call in your guides, God, Goddess, higher self, Lazarus, future self, whoever you'd like to walk with you, supporting you, encouraging you, reminding you of your truth. And as you breathe deeply, going deeper and deeper, find your heart space, floating, floating out into the darkness of the universe. Empowered and filled with love, silent, quiet. Allowing yourself to gently meander through space and time. And as you know it, you begin to grow and your feet reach down into the world, into one of the hot spots. And immediately you see the representations of the scary cards in the universe of fear and panic, doubt and uncertainty, sadness, grief, pain and sorrow. Plant your feet firmly on the earth. Grounded, breathing in the bubble of light and the connection to source that you call divine. And opening your heart and opening your arms and being willing to siphon off that which is ready to be siphoned from the emotional turmoil of those ready to let go. Remembering your strength and your courage, your abilities, and your oneness with all that is. Your compassion opens to more and more. Absorbing, quelling the turmoil, the pain and the suffering, honoring it, seeing it, respecting and absorbing it. All that is ready to be released from the world, to be healed, to be transmuted. With each breath, you take on more. Condensing within you, condensing so that you can breathe in more of the ambient stress in the air, and the fear, the sadness, knowing you are strong enough, knowing you are supported, knowing that you are not alone. Condensing. Recognizing a calmer, more neutral space left in the universe. A space that now has room for healing. A space that now has seeds for growth. A space more ready and willing and able to receive support and love from all that is, from all the elements, from the seen and unseen, the known and the unknown, from this realm as well as others. And as you smile and fold your arms back onto yourself, you pop back into that bubble and shoot far into the universe, landing in the lattice of the divine, Sirius, the feminine, Walk filled with your burdens and pain, following the path littered with flowers and grasses of every color, imaginable and unimaginable, seen and unseen. Following it left and right and up and down, gentle rolling hills and valleys. You come upon the temple of the goddess, the grand Parthenon, lit fairies of stars, of love. Pause, breathing deeply, collecting yourself in all that you're carrying. And walk gently on the path to the temple. And you see her waiting for you, smiling with her arms wide open. And you smile back, and she motions to the table, the altar, in the center of the room, slipping off your footwear. You sit and lay with your robes out on the table. And she places a hand on your heart. And with a breath, she absorbs all that you've carried to her. I feel it exiting your body from every cell of your being, your burdens, letting it all go to the divine, to the mother, the goddess. You lay there spent, exhausted, empty, breathing gently, barely able to keep your eyes open until you can't. And as you close your eyes, you fall into a deep, gentle, and healing sleep. Embracing the vast void within you, the hollowness of nothing. The goddess turns and walks to the other side, creating an elixir of healing, of love, support. And as you lay there motionless, she returns, putting a hand beneath your neck, lifting your head, and pouring from a beautiful bottle or vial that which is love into your mouth. You feel it pouring down your throat, spilling into your heart, exploding throughout your vessels, into every cell of your being, out your arms and your fingers, down your torso, filling your abdomen, your hips, you're drawing them down your legs, your feet, and now spilling into your clothing beneath you, filling you, replenishing you, filling you with more love, more grace, more compassion than you've ever known. Breathing it into all of your organs, they rejuvenate, releasing anything and everything that no longer serves you, filling you with the light and the love and the perfection of the divine. Breathing in deeply and fully now. Expanding onto yourself. You rise to sit, smiling, thanking Goddess, the divine feminine, embracing gratitude and love. She slips the vial into your hand, the bottle, nods and smiles. And with the breath, you are back to where you were in the world, the point of trauma. And you go and tip your bottle, your elixir, your vial into the earth, into the people, the situations, the fires. Grounded, loving, strong, knowing. You watch as the magic begins and the renewal of life and love and the new world is born. You give thanks to all your helper guides, to God, Goddess, all that is, your soul, spirit, future self, Lazarus, all those who joined you today, Jesus. And give thanks and love and gratitude. And you gently feel yourself being tugged back as we count you back from 1 to 5, counting up, 1 to 5, coming back 1, 2, feeling the chair beneath you, wiggling your toes and fingers, hearing Bodhi's welcome back, coming back 4 and 5, welcome, and thank you all. Thank you.
Powerful, beautiful, needed. Thank you so much. I had just gotten done with a meditation with one of my clients. He's doing a part in the South America and all the volcanoes and all the things that are there. And we've been siphoning things. So what I was doing was just taking everything from everyone, and just letting the earth have it. And letting, because the earth loves it, and those volcanoes will eat it up, and there's no judgment, no anything. So that's what I was doing with it. So beautiful, powerful.
Yay. Thank you. Yay. You're muted, Carol.
There's a typhoon in Asia that has also to be calmed down.
You guys are awesome. I felt your power so much. I was quivering in half the meditation. You guys are just off the hook powerful, and it is an honor and a great joy to work magic and play with all of you, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Thanks for the push, ladies. But Elizabeth are so good. I am spoiled.
Yours are pretty awesome yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. But I can do mine anytime.
Oh, the little baby. Hello, baby. How old
Hi.
are you?
Can you say
Yeah,
you are? I'm
2 years? Ah,
3.
good. 3. Ah, okay. Oh, that's great. Mhm.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Well, wonderful, everybody. Thank you so much. Does anybody have anything else they want to share or say before we leave for tonight?
No, it was fun.
Thank you. Thank you for Celeste for hosting, as always. And next month we have Danny and the Money Magic, and I think Elizabeth is swapping me for that one, right?
Mhm.
So we'll be hosting.
Perhaps, yes.
Or another one down the road. I think I'm scheduled for a couple of them.
I will look. We'll discuss. I think so, yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad you could make it, Elizabeth. We appreciate you joining in with the magic too. And thank you, JoLynn, for your beautiful presentation tonight. You are
Yeah,
always
thank you.
so prepared and so wonderful. It was awesome. Thank you, Kay, for joining us, and Marie, and it's great to see you, Leanne and Rob, and Carol, and Elizabeth, and Celeste.
Joanne, Jody.
Blessings, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye. Yay. Good job.